allowed to stop for every opportunity. When we do stop for a picture, it's just for a few seconds, so you're going to want to be ready. Now, even if the truck is stopped, sometimes the animals are still on the move. So if you have a camera that's got an adjustable shutter speed, you might want to put it at a sports or an action setting. Now, it's very important that everyone remain seated at all times. Do not stand up to take a picture or to look at the animals. I see young explorers back there sitting on parents' laps. That's perfectly all right. Make sure they remain seated facing forward. Do not stand them up in your lap. And do not hold children up in the air like Simba in the movie Lion King. Now we are entering the Little Aturi Forest. Forest animals like to use their colors and their markings as camouflage. They will hide from predators. My favorite animal is off to the right. It's called an okapi. It's got a dark brown body like a horse and stripes like a zebra. The okapi's my favorite animal because of his unique appearance. He's also unique because the okapi is the only relative there is to a giraffe. Now look behind the okapi, you'll see an animal sitting on the ground with yellow fur on its back. That's a yellowback duiker. Duiker means diver. When the yellowback duiker gets startled, that fur stands up on his back. He lets out a shrill whistle and he dives into the brush. Greater kudu on the left side of the truck, gray animal with white stripes. Greater kudu are the second tallest of the antelope species at 5 feet. Those are all females. Only the males have horns. Now off to the right, as I make this left turn, look up and you'll see a cinnamon-colored animal. It's called a bongo. Now all the bongo, both male and female, have heavy sweatback horns. That's a very young bongo, so the horns are not very long. They use those horns to get deep into the brush and hide. Bongo's so good at hiding, the local people call the bongo the ghost of the forest. If you look back behind us, up to the left, you'll see a black rhinoceros sitting on the ground. Not a real great look at a black rhino. You're gonna, hey, sit down back there, thank you. You're gonna notice they are brown. Well, that's because all the all the rhino love to wallow in the mud. So that black rhino's the color of the mud. Now here's another look at the bongo, and you can see the heavy sweatback horns of these mature adults.
And there's one right here.
Now the black rhinoceros is very endangered, and that's because there's only about 5,000 left in the entire world. It's not considered to be a sustainable number. Now we're leaving the Little Aturi Forest, and this road is going to take us to the Safi River. African rivers teem with wildlife. There's everything in an African river. There are mammals, amphibians, reptiles, fish, fowl, lots of bugs and snakes. Now on safari, we're looking for the largest mammal that makes the river its home. What is that? That's right, the Nile hippopotamus. Hippos stay in the river almost all day. They will leave the river at nighttime to feed. Ooh, more hippo in the river to the left. Now when you look at a hippo, you wouldn't think it, but they're actually very good swimmers. Did you know that hippos are related to whales? But the hippos prefer to navigate the river by walking on the bottom. They can stay on the bottom of the river holding their breath for up to 8 minutes. These are pink-backed pelicans to the left. Their backs are pink during the mating season. So come back in a month or two. Safi River Bridge is up ahead. Oh boy, the sign says weight limit 4 tons. 4 tons, that's only 8,000 pounds. You don't want to know what this truck weighs. More hippo on the left side. Now let's hope this bridge holds together. There are Nile crocodile on the riverbank down below. The crocs will attack animals 3 times their size. And when they attack, they bite with 2,000 pounds per square inch of bone-crushing force. Now I remember this road. It's going to take us to the Serengeti. And that's what the local people call the vast grasslands of Central Africa. On safari, we call the Serengeti the savannah. The savannah stretches for hundreds of miles across Central Africa, and it's a super highway for the migratory species. Millions of animals will migrate through the savannah every year, and they're all looking for fresh food. That's a baobab tree off to the right. Local people call it the upside-down tree, and that one's small by baobab tree standards. Now here's the prettiest vista in the entire reserve. We are looking out over the savannah. Savannah's home to almost every mammal in Africa. And this is the Africa we're working so hard to preserve. Look out over the savannah, see a lot of vegetation. That's nature's way. Nature provides for her creatures. There's plenty of food here for everyone. All of this grass will be a feast for the various grazing species. And if you look at all these trees, they're all about the same distance from the ground up to the lowest bit of vegetation. And that's because these trees are pruned by the giraffe. A giraffe will eat for 16 to 20 hours out of every day. They prefer to feed on the trees. They'll get underneath the tree, they will look up, then they'll pluck the vegetation from the tree using their 18-inch long tongue. A lot of termite mounds out here. About the tallest one I've ever seen coming up on the left side. That'll be home to millions of termites. Termites build these mounds, and the mounds bake in the hot African sun. They get to be as hard as concrete. But a termite mound is actually porous and air flows through them. They're pretty interesting to see as well. On the inside, they're described as a fortress, a city, and an underground garden. If you want to see the inside of a termite mound while you're here in Africa, visit the Pangani Forest Exploration Trail. See a lot of interesting things, including the inside of a termite mound. See the horns of Ankole cattle up on that ridge to the right. See the white horns? Now, if you look at your animal spotting guide, you'll see the Ankole cattle, dark brown body, huge white horns. They can be 6 feet across, 20 inches around at the base. Now, the horns of the Ankole look like they must weigh a ton, but they don't because they're not solid. They're honeycombed, and the animal's blood flows through the horn, helps keep the body cool. Ooh, we are being stopped by giraffe. They're heading our way, too. There's 2 species of giraffe on the reserve. They look exactly alike, except for their coats. Look at your animal spotting guide. You'll see a picture of a reticulated giraffe. Gets its name from the well-defined net-like appearance of the coat. Latin word for net is reticulata. There's a reticulated giraffe right in front of me, as well as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Maasai. Now I'm not going to be allowed to stop right next to these giraffe. They are too close to the road. They will stick their heads right in the truck.
Good morning. So, and another thing, you know, I really told you.
Let's not distract the animals, please. Thank you.
You haven't told me this. Nobody from Steve has told me this, but you know, the word around is that Coach Dennis does. That's why I wanted to call it that.
A giraffe has a tongue that's 18 inches long. It's also as sticky as glue. Now those are white-bearded wildebeest up on the ridge. To the right, gray animal with a black face. They're the most abundant of all the migratory species on the savanna. White-bearded wildebeest migrate in herds of tens of thousands. Now we're getting ready to enter elephant country. Elephants live in herds, but the male elephants will leave the herd at ages 13 to 15. That's the extent of an elephant's childhood. Once the males leave the herd, they pretty much live the life of a bachelor from then on. Elephant country is on the right. This watering hole marks the entrance. Monkey Point on the left. Look at the top of the rock. You'll see a monkey sitting between those tree trunks. More monkeys on the ground underneath the palm tree. Those are mandrill monkeys, the monkeys with a bright colored blue and red nose. Oh boy, look off to the right. I've got some bad news about that elephant. He's standing right in the middle of the road that we're going to take that goes deep into elephant country. Yeah, there's a little stream that feeds this watering hole, small bridge across that stream. And we're going to be crossing that bridge, but that elephant's right in the way. I sure hope the horn works on this truck. Could get interesting up ahead. Oh, the sign says road closed. What's going on here? Oh, the bridge, it's been washed out. Yeah, we had some heavy rains about a week ago. Must have been a flash flood. Probably a good thing that we're not able to go that way. He can weigh 14,000 pounds. Now, I was on the road a couple of years ago. As I recall, there's a pretty dilapidated bridge up ahead. Let me check the map, see if I can get it on an alternative route. Oh boy, nope, we're going to have to cross that bridge. Well, they must have repaired it by now. Oh, it looks even worse than the last time I saw it. Oh boy, this doesn't look safe, but I don't see any other way across this ravine. All right, everybody stay put. Whoa! 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 All right, lean right, lean right. Okay, good job. You kept this truck up on its wheels, but we've got to get off of this bridge before it caves in. Come on, rear wheels, get off the bridge. Yes! All right, let's boogie on over to elephant country. That was a close call back there. We almost ended up in that ravine. Oh, there's a lot of elephant tracks right here, and tusk marks in the clay on either side of the truck. You know, elephants will eat that red clay. Gives them minerals. They don't get their diet otherwise. And I think we're coming up on a herd. I see elephants up ahead. Now remember what I told you, all the adults in a herd are female, but you'll notice they've all got tusks. Unfortunately, poachers kill the elephants for the ivory in their tusks. Ooh, I thought I heard some radio static. Anybody else hear that back there? Oh, there it is again. And now I'm hearing the Harambe radio station. Well, that's interesting because this truck doesn't have a radio. So if you're the one with the radio back there, please keep the volume down. We don't want to stampede these elephants. I mentioned poachers. Elephants are also in trouble because of habitat destruction. Anybody who owns a cell phone shares some responsibility for that. Our cell phones contain a mineral called coltan. Coltan is mined in Africa, right in the heart of elephant country. So we can all be friends to elephants by recycling cell phones. These are greater flamingo. They're the lightest colored pink of all the flamingo species. But when flamingos hatch, they are gray. And they would stay gray too, except their favorite food is brine shrimp. Now, brine shrimp contains beta-carotene. So after the flamingo eat the brine shrimp for a year or so, the beta-carotene will turn them pink. Some native artwork on the wall to the right. Don't know how old that is, but it sure looks ancient. Ooh, there's a mud pit up ahead. Mud pits on the savannah attract the white rhino, and they weigh 5,000 pounds. Probably a good time to turn that radio off. Look at the craters in that mud pit. They've been there, and look what's coming right across the road. White rhino. Now, if you look at the mouth of the white rhino, you'll see how they get their name. The mouth is wide, and the African word for wide is vite.
Hello, rhino.
So they were called the vite rhino. And that just evolved into being called the white rhino. Another one on the right side.
That was a girl one, yeah.
Now their numbers had gotten up to about 20,000 in the wild. They were a success story. But as the black rhinos got more and more scarce, those ruthless, well-funded poachers are slaughtering the white rhino. They slaughter them for their horn, and then they sell the horn on the black market. Don't make any sudden moves back there, please. If you do, we could be in big trouble. I see a cheetah sitting on the ground. Look up to the left in the short grass. See the head of the cheetah. Now that is the fastest land mammal. He can sprint 60 to 70 miles an hour. This truck goes 8. Cheetah's a daytime hunter too, so watch him. If that cheetah's hungry, you sure don't want to be the one sitting in the back row of this truck. Ooh, here's more cheetah. See the palm fronds off to the left? 2 cheetahs sitting next to those palm fronds.
They're laying down on the ground with spots.
This rock formation up ahead of us is called a kopie. This is a favorite spot for lions. Lions get up on the kopie because the rocks are elevated. They can look out over the savannah and look for prey. The lions are inactive 18 to 20 hours out of every day. They spend that time sleeping. Oh, speaking of prey, here's Bontebok, more white rhino. That brown and white animal sitting on the ground, it's a species of antelope. It's called a Bontebok, and they are extinct in the wild. The only place you'll see them are on reserves like Harambe. They don't seem concerned about the potential for lions. Well, all the animals on the savannah know that the lions are nocturnal. They hunt at nighttime. They like to sneak up on their prey in the dark. And a lion's night vision is 6 times sharper than ours. You just see the head of a lioness right there sitting by the tree. Some large burrows up ahead of us. Oh boy, here's the largest burrowing mammal in Africa. Look to the left. What is that? Warthog. Warthogs dig the burrows with their tusks. Those tusks are razor sharp. They'll go into the burrow tail first. The predators see the tusk. They leave the warthogs alone. Ostrich eggs on the ground to the left. Each one of those eggs weighs about 3 pounds. Another look at the bontebok, the white rhino. The horn of the white rhino, it's about the same material as your hair and your fingernails. So they slaughter a priceless animal for that. Now I just got a glimpse of another bridge that we have to cross, and this one's damaged as well. Well, we made it across the Safi River Bridge despite weighing 30,000 pounds. Somehow we got across that ravine without that bridge collapsing. Well, can we make it 3 in a row? We're about to find out. Good luck.
We're holding on to these places as we go today.
Front wheels are on the bridge. Oh, it's pretty rickety. It does feel like it could cave in any second. Front wheels are off the bridge, so I'm safe. And so are you. Just hope we don't see any more bridges the next 2 weeks. We are pushing our luck. Now up to the left, there's an animal with spiral horns. It's called an addax, A-D-D-A-X. Addax are one of the most endangered animals in all of Africa. They have been poached for their meat, and there's only about 300 addax left in the wild. On the right side, there are stork with yellow bill. Anybody know the name of the stork with the yellow bill?
Yellow-billed stork.
Oh, there's a genius right behind me. The yellow-billed stork, very good. Now 300 addax left in the wild puts them on the brink of extinction. And we all know that that word extinct, unfortunately, that means gone forever. Now I mentioned recycling cell phones. If we will recycle everything that we can in our households, we'll be helping all of the endangered species in Africa. And we can all do our part to help others understand the plight of those animals. Now, if you would really like to help, you can make a donation to a conservation fund, or you can even volunteer with a conservation group. Oh no, there's a gate up ahead. Doggone it. Well, that means I'm going to have to cut the 2-week trip short by 14 days. Sorry about that. Now I'm going to be dropping you off right where I picked you up. I kind of enjoy that though, because everybody else gets off right here. Before we go too much further though, I've got to let the warden know where we are.
We have to wait. That was fun seeing all that. What was your favorite?
Yeah, there's a lot more to see while you're here in Africa.
Usually they're not out like that.
I mentioned the Pangani Trail. When you go down to the base of the ramp, colobus monkeys are right there. If you turn to the right, it's where you'll see the inside of the termite mound.